Howdy folks, it's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, making another video for you out of Boise, Idaho, and I'm going to be working on another Buick 3800. This is a Park Avenue Ultra. It has a supercharged 3.8 liter engine in it, and I'm going to be replacing all the top half gaskets minus the head gaskets. So intake gaskets, valve cover gaskets, exhaust gaskets, you name it. Pretty much everything you see here is going to be coming off. Before I get started though, I just wanted to remind everybody that I totally do this out of my backyard and out of my own garage and out of my home for the main reason is because I have 4 kiddos. And so with the cost of childcare and the way things are in this world today, it's a lot easier for me to come home and work full-time for myself out of my home and be here for the wife and 4 kiddos than it is for us to bust our butt and try to pay $1,000 worth of childcare every week. So that's ultimately why I do what I do out of the house. So what that means is that a lot of these videos, they are very raw and uncut. I only use my phone to shoot the videos and stuff like that, and I don't have like a big shop or anything that I'm working out of. So yeah, I'm just a hardworking man doing my best to feed the wife and 4 kids and share some knowledge with you. So if the videos get cut short at times, or if there's some information missing, or if the camera work isn't all that great, I do apologize, because sometimes things do get pretty hectic around here. Another thing I wanted to mention is sometimes I have videos that are only like 15 minutes long, but the reality of it is the time that is in between pauses, it may take me 2 hours to get a bolt out, and then I start shooting video again. So what I'll start doing is I'll start kind of letting you know how long it took me to remove a part or to work on something in between pauses and stuff like that. So other than that, guys, I really appreciate your support and watching me and supporting me and my family and all that other good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, whenever I'm working on a job like this that has a lot of work that needs to be done, it's kind of an art form, so I'm not too concerned like about the technical stuff right now about it, because as you can see, we have a lot of connectors and electrical connections. And I mean, you name it, there's just stuff that needs to be disconnected and taken off. So what I normally do is I find a spot on the car, whether it's on the left side or the right side, driver or passenger side, and that's where I start working and start removing all of my little bolts, all of my little connectors. And I basically kind of think of it like a typewriter. So I like to start on a job like this, I like to start at the air filter, and I obviously do need to get the air filter and the boot and all this and the throttle body and all this out of the way. So like a typewriter, I'm just going to start here, start removing bolts, making it. Now for me, I'll make a mental note of where everything goes, and I'll remember it, take a picture of it in my mind, and I'll remember it, and that's how I know how to put everything back. Some people might want to mark everything. Also, certain nuts and bolts that you remove, you can just put them right back where they came out of after you've removed the part, and then you don't have to worry about losing them. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start over here. I'm going to work my way over here, and I'm going to just get all these electrical connections and all the little stuff that you see out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it and start doing that. And as I remove big items like the air filter and the throttle body and stuff, I'll come back and show that to you. Alright, and so right now, as you can see, I've got the air filter and the top of the housing unit removed, the boot, leaving me with a throttle. Look how nasty this is. This is gross. I've never seen, well, take it back. I've seen them nasty, but I haven't seen them like caked up with junk like that. That definitely needs to be cleaned. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove my throttle cables. Now, it's really not that hard to do. This cable right here, as you can see, it has a little plastic clip. Let's see if I can get some focus there. See that? So all you need to do, it's going to be on this little nipple here. Take a little screwdriver and just push it, and it'll clip right on and clip right off. Shouldn't have to worry too much about breaking it. As far as this one back here goes, lift this up. You're not going to hurt anything. Go ahead and lift this up. You may need a second hand if you're not used to doing this, and then take a screwdriver and stick it down inside of there, pull the cable out until you can line it up here, and go ahead and pull the cable out all together, and then let them sit. And then you're going to have two 8mm bolts on the side, and this is one of those situations where you can just, once you pull the bolts out and remove the cable, we can just stick them right back in the throttle body so we don't lose them. So then pull that out. Looks like I need to undo a cable there, but little zip tie. Just need to cut that little zip tie so my cable, but go ahead and put your bolts back where they go. And this is another method I use not to lose bolts. So anywhere where you can just stick the bolts back and they're not going to be in the way, just go ahead and do that. Okay, so using my typewriter method here, I'm going from right to left. So now I've got the cables disconnected, and I'm going to get those moved out of the way. I'm going to work on some of my electrical cables here and connections here and get all that off. Vacuum lines, making a mental note of where everything goes, or marking everything as to where it goes. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my whole throttle body removed next. Okay, now we're going to remove the throttle body, and that's going to be 3 10mm nuts and bolts. You have one here, and you have one hidden down here, and then you're really going to have one hidden right across from it, right back down here. It'll be a blind stab, but it's there. So it'll be a triangle formation. You're going to have one at 12 o'clock, you're going to have one like around 8 o'clock, and one like around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock down here. So go ahead and get a 10mm socket, ratchet, and extension, and get your throttle body removed. Alright, so now at this point, as you can see, I've got the throttle body and the air breathing system, all that removed. I've got my upper radiator hose removed. I've got any electrical connection associated with this part of the engine, throttle body including, all that's removed. I've got a little bracket back behind my EGR system removed, and so next I'm going to go into my EGR system and get that removed out of here. As you can see, I've got everything unplugged, and now I'm just kind of trying to do my best to look ahead and think ahead and find any and all electrical connections and other parts and little pieces that I can remove, fuel injectors, plug wires, all that other stuff. So we started over here, and as you can kind of see the job progress as we move along and get things removed. We're eventually going to end up here at the alternator. That's going to have to come off, and the bracket for the alternator is going to have to come off as well. So next will be the EGR system, and I'll start working on getting fuel lines and other stuff removed. Alright, now that we got the throttle body, all the connectors, EGR system out of the way, we're again working from right to left and just going through and getting all of our electrical connections disconnected. And next I'm going to go ahead and work on the alternator. So I've removed both of the belts. You need a 14mm socket, a 15mm socket for your alternator belt tensioner. For your supercharger belt tensioner, you need to remove the battery, and then you want to use a T47. So T47 Torx bit, and you use that right inside of there, and that'll allow you to remove your supercharger and AC belt and all that other good stuff. Then from there, it'll be a 14mm bolt back here, and that'll allow you to remove this bracket for the alternator. And now we're going to use 15mm sockets, and we're going to go ahead and get the alternator out, and then we'll work on removing this bracket out of the way. Alright, now that you got your alternator out, you want to go ahead and work on removing this bracket so you can get access to this valve cover. Since you want to change that, you're going to have one bolt here, okay, you're going to have another one down here, and then I've left it kind of poking out. Right here, underneath here, you're gonna have a hidden bolt. So you'll have 3 15mm bolts, and then go ahead and pull this bracket off. I'll show you what that looks like here in just a minute. All right, now I didn't remove the heater hoses off of my bracket. I simply just removed it and set it out of the way, giving me full access now pretty much to this back valve cover. And it's also necessary so you can get in and get the supercharger and intake removed. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start working my way from left to right back to my original spot, because I'm going all the way through this engine, prepping it, removing everything, getting it ready so I can go ahead and remove the upper and lower intake, supercharger, all that other good stuff, valve covers and gaskets. So now I'm going to go ahead and remove my coil and my tensioner and my bracket. We're going to have some 15mm bolts that we need to remove here and here, and then you're going to want a 7mm socket to remove your electrical connection, and we're just going to pull this whole piece off as one. Alright, so now that I got that bracket and coil pack out of the way, I've got all the room I need to get in here and access this valve cover. So now I pretty much got most of the big stuff out of the way, so I can go ahead and get my supercharger and my intake off. About the only thing I'm left with now at this point is a bracket here, which I'm going to use 10mm and get this bracket out of here. And then I'm going to work on getting my fuel injectors and fuel system off. So that's where I'm going to head next. I'm going to go and get this bracket out, and then I'm going to work on my fuel system. At this point, I've probably been out here for a couple hours, about 2 or 3 hours between working on this and taking care of the kiddos and stuff. All right, now I've used a 1/2 inch quick disconnect tool, okay, and I wrapped it around here, around my fuel lines, and I disconnected my fuel lines. All right, I set those aside. Now I'm going to use a 10mm socket and ratchet. I'm going to get my fuel injectors completely removed and out of the way. And actually, that's probably where I'm going to stop this video for the day. It's getting late. I got about 3-4 hours into this now. I'm about halfway to where I want to be. But as you know, I've got 4 kids. I've got kids that are getting ready to get off the bus and stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get my fuel injectors removed. Stop this video at that point. I'll pick up tomorrow morning and show you how to remove the supercharger and upper and lower intakes, valve covers. We're also going to go in and be removing the exhaust manifolds, because we're going to be replacing those gaskets as well. All right, there you go. Fuel injectors are removed. Now I've got full access to my supercharger, lower intake, upper intake, valve covers, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. It took me about 3 or 4 hours to get down to this, and that's doing it back here in my backyard with all the distractions I have with family and home and all that other stuff. So just took my time, nothing broke, everything came apart accordingly, so no worries there. So yeah, the next video that I post about this vehicle, I'll show you how to replace the intake and pull all that other good stuff off and go from there. Well, thanks everybody for coming out and supporting me and watching my videos. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment. We can trade emails, we can trade phone numbers. I really do enjoy helping you guys out. I also enjoy your feedback and learning from you guys as well. All right, guys, well, this is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician. I am signing off.